Hey YouTube. Today I kind of wanted to go over with you my driving experience so far. Now, in the last video I kind of explained some things that I've done. Back in 2015 is when the end of 2015, I think it was December 2015 is when I started with Roadmasters to get my CDL. Started with Roadmasters to get my CDL in December 2015. I graduated in January of 2016 and went with Warner right after I graduated and got my CDL. When I was with Warner for, I think it was like 9, 10, 11 months, something like that. I started out after I got off the trainer's truck. I went over the road, did that most of the time, and I went on a dedicated account. I kind of helped out. Now, with the way Warner is, I guess if you're over the road and you're in an area where they need help, they'll ask you whether or not you want to help out on that account, and you can either accept it or deny it. That is completely up to you. But I've denied all of those when I was over the road the last time. I denied all of them except for the 3M account, which was I'm glad I didn't. You didn't deny it. It was a nice account. I just wasn't expecting to stay on it as long as I was. But all I had to do was just ask to go back to the over the road account, and I asked on, I think Saturday. I started back on the other account that Monday. But I was on that account for a couple of months. And then I did Dollar General. I did that for, I think, a month maybe. I'm not 100% positive. But that account, if you're pretty scrawny, like me at the time, I guess now still, it's a lot of work. Now, the main issue I had with that was the rotainers that I always seemed to get had busted wheels. The nets was always messed up to where they would catch on the other rotainers, or they would just not be secured on there, and then when you go to pull it out, they would all fall. But most of the rotainers, I actually had a down stack because it was stacked top heavy. And whenever I actually dropped one, and then after that I just decided to just go ahead and down stacking them onto another rotainer to where they weren't so top heavy, because I dropped one off of the lift gate. That was a mess. But after that I just started down stacking it. Now after Warner, the Dollar General was my last account with Warner, so I was there for I think like a total of 10 or 11 months. Now after that I went with another company. It was a local company, hauling mushrooms. Now that was a reefer. That was pulling reefers. Now, I think I was there 6 to 7 months maybe. It was team driving. I wasn't a fan of team driving. It's really hard to sleep. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it was easy to get to sleep, but a lot of times going down the road, bumps and all that stuff, it was real hard for me to get to sleep sometimes. So I wasn't getting much sleep. But I was pretty much home every day for almost every day. Every once in a while I'd go on like a longer run, and it would be home like every day and a half or 2 days, depending on which run it was. And it was all driver unload too. Now after that I went to to JB Hunt, did a local account. I was home daily with that. I hauled feed, chicken feed, and chickens. Yeah, chickens and chicken feed. I did that for about a year. Actually, I think it's a little over a year, maybe. Now, with that, it's not the wide open roads that it is today on the interstates, and that's something that's not for everybody either. There was a lot of people that they would come. It's a home daily account. Everyone wants to be able to come home every day, but that's not for everybody. The roads that you are on are pretty tight. You've got no room for error. You drop a steer off, you're going to go off the road and you're laid over, or you're going to overcorrect and smack somebody head on. It was that one of the main reasons why I decided to kind of get away from that one is it was every week, at least once or twice a week, I had near miss head-on collisions with either four-wheelers or other semis. And I actually had one that he almost just sideswiped and slammed into the trailer. He didn't. I don't know how he managed to get away from it, but it was someone pulling a little, some kind of like a storage trailer or something small. He almost slammed into the tandems, but yeah, that was one of the reasons why I decided to kind of get away from that, because you have no room for error. If someone's coming at you head on, yeah, you ain't got nowhere to go. Sure, you can take it off, and you never know what's going to happen after that, but I don't know. It was getting to be more and more like constantly every day, or constantly at least every once every week at least, sometimes more. Now I quit there to go to school. I was actually going to be going to school to programming. Computer programming. Now I kind of dabbled with that a little bit in high school, but haven't really done a whole bunch since high school as far as computer programming and stuff goes. Now I have built websites, and I'm actually, I've done HTML, things like that, but now I do currently run a website, but I use WordPress, which is so much easier than having to build your own website. But that's something for another day. Now, the reason why I went back to driving was because wife ended up getting pregnant, and wasn't expecting that to happen. So I went back to driving. Now I could have went back to the company, JB Hunt, and did the chicken, the feed and life haul, which wouldn't have been a problem. I would have done it. It would have been 3 months to be able to get insurance with them, and that just wasn't going to work out very well because we was already a couple thousand in doctor's bills from just like one visit, 1 or 2 visits. So another 3 months for that was just going to be too much. So I kind of looked around and seen what my options were, and that's why I decided to go back to Warner. And the account that I'm on, it's a TCU account, TCU One Way, and they keep you running pretty good. I'll go into more detail on as far as the accounts and stuff go later on. And I mean, it does kind of depend on where you live at as well. Me, I am from Northeast Oklahoma, So I guess it's kind of a regional thing for certain areas. They have certain areas have different accounts. I know if I were to live closer to KC, there's a lot of accounts out of there. Oklahoma City, there's a lot of accounts out of there as well. Home Daily accounts there. But if you do leave comments down below, I will get those and I will try to answer those the best that I can. But I do want to go into more detail about whether or not you should contract with a company to get your CDL, or whether or not you should just get your CDL. That'll be in a later video, but if you do have any questions, do not hesitate to leave those below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. And until next time, be sure to stay safe and have fun out there.